The content and opinions shared on Talking Randomish are intended for entertainment and informational purposes. They reflect the personal views of the host and guests and do not constitute professional advice or represent any affiliated organization. Without your enemies, without your random, without your enemies, without your random. They coming one and all into the barbershop where the conversation dies. They're talking on and on and even calling just to set the places right. The ladies and the dudes can all come on through and it's all good. It's all good. Without your enemies, without your random, without your enemies, without your random, without your enemies, without your random, without your enemies, without your random.
Is this a barbershop? Yeah, it's a barbershop. I mean, we can't talk street in the barbershop. Then where can we talk street? We can't talk street nowhere else. You know, this ain't nothing but healthy conversation.
Greetings, Classic City, World Wide Web. Welcome to Barbershop Talking Random-ish. I am your master barber, Ray Kane. I am here with a few good fellas, beautiful ladies. Y'all know what this is. This ain't nothing but some good old-fashioned barbershop style conversation. In this here barbershop, no conversation is taboo. I'm gonna say that one more time. No conversation is taboo. We ain't got but one rule and one rule only, and that rule is say what you mean what you say, just don't be mean when you say it. We want to thank our sponsors who are letting us do what we do. First of all, I want to thank MEU Radio and Mr. Rick Dunn for allowing us to use this space. And since we're talking about that, I need y'all to help keep this space rolling. Mr. Rick Dunn has been doing a great thing in this here community, and we need him to stay around and to keep doing great things. But he needs your help. He needs your help. I need y'all to support ACC High School Completion Initiative. And you can do this by donating through your PayPal. And when you do so, please include educationmatters@gmail.com. And you can also donate through your Kroger Plus card. You can log into your account and search the ACC High School Completion Initiative to donate. Please do. It is for a great cause. I mean, it helps us and it keeps helping the community.
And for those of us that's a little slow, when you log into that Kroger app, look under rewards. You're going to find a little section that say community rewards. Search for ACC, was it?
ACC High School Completion.
There you go.
Initiative.
And that's where you're going to find it. And that's how you're going to help give back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you can also give back to Talking Randomish.
Yes, sir.
That help us with to get the merchandises and everything. The website is coming soon. I just spoke with the CEO or the CFO of the company, and I just spoke with him, and he gonna get in touch with the CEO of the company, and we gonna get the website coming. It is coming soon, and I will let y'all know. But tonight we back. We got my brothers back in the building. Seat number 1 is still vacant. We waiting on Mr. Scalper. Whenever he show. But his chair is always waiting on him. But we got Mr. L is in the building. What's good with you, my boy?
Boy, just glad to be in the shop tonight.
Yes, sir. We sure glad to have you. And we got the long return, the SlimFit, the sensitive, fresh off his happy birthday extravaganza.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
going on, my boy?
Man, not much, man. I enjoyed these past few days with my family and my sister. Thank y'all for the support, and I'm back in the house.
Oh,
Yes, sir. How was the concert, man?
Oh man, he put on the show.
Oh
He
man.
put on the show. I was kind of surprised. But yeah, he put on the show. That's all I can say. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And anytime my sister enjoys somebody she really don't know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it had to be a good show.
It had to be a good show.
So the show that he did at the halftime of the
Now, for those that don't know,
we talking about the Kendrick Lamar
show.
and SZA show.
Yeah. They basically, that GNX concert tour is basically him and her
Yeah.
split,
Yeah.
but it's combined so well, and they perform with each other,
yeah,
without each other. They did former albums, new albums.
Yeah.
They did remixes.
Okay.
Everything was great, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. It was sold out. It was packed. I think everybody in there know every Kendrick Lamar lyric, or they know every SZA lyric. All races. It was awesome, man. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I hate why that, because in fact, while we were watching the halftime show, I looked over at wife and said, "We going to that show." So I hate I missed it, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to be there.
It was nice.
Because Kendrick is one of them young brothers too. Before I get up out of here, I definitely want to check him out.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Hey man, we gonna start the conversation off. I know everybody watched it. If you're anything like me, football season is almost year round. So this past weekend was the draft, and with the 144th pick in the draft, 5th round, the Cleveland Browns took Shedeur Sanders. Everybody that I know that's watches football, talks about football, know that Shedeur at worst should have went the 2nd round. At worst. Easily he was the top 2 quarterbacks in the country all season. If you ask me, everything that people say that they want in an NFL quarterback, he possesses it. He plays from the pocket. He's accurate. He delivers the ball well. And coming from where he came from the last 2 seasons, he done had one of the worst O-lines in college football, and he still has performed. He can get out the pocket and make plays. He has done everything to me that he was supposed to do that warrant him coming off the board in the 1st round. It didn't happen. What y'all think about that?
You fur, Larry?
Oh, I take it first.
All right.
I look at that one as sort of like the Ball brothers. Sometimes your dad do more harm than good, and for all the good that I think Dion has done for the game and for his sons, I think that the NFL decided that they were gonna make an example out of his son based on his confidence, because I don't call it arrogance. And most quarterbacks, you have to have that type of mentality and mindset to do what you need to do on the football field, and the way Dion carried himself. So I definitely put it as the NFL trying to flex its muscle and saying that no one person is bigger than the game or bigger than the organization. We'll show you, no matter what the pundits say, no matter what the experts say, we decide where you go in this draft.
Yeah. Now, Sam, I'm gonna let you get it out. To me, it was
Go
a
ahead.
form of butt breaking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We gonna show you.
Yeah. We gonna show you.
We gonna show you.
We gonna show you.
Because even owners holler about they all we know most owners is about money. They trying to make money. This kid right now got the highest selling jersey, and he ain't even got a number.
Right.
Jersey already set it off the roof. And to me, that's because every black person in the world right now, it just became a Cleveland Brown fan. Because we finna support and follow this kid, and hopefully he does what he needs to do to prove that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the draft this year.
Yeah.
What you think, Sam?
Oof. Well, I agree with y'all to a certain extent, man. The only thing that kind of bothered me was during this draft, you never heard a coach or player personnel or anybody else talk about how they viewed his tape.
Yes.
We never heard that. You know, and there was rumblings that a lot of people didn't like his tape, even though he was prolific in his passing yards and touchdowns. But a lot of people are saying that a lot of teams didn't like his tape, which is BS. I just don't think they liked
They like his attitude.
they didn't like his attitude and his cockiness that he got from his dad.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just a matter of the owners flexing their muscles and saying, hey, you know, okay, we don't care. We gonna get you.
Yeah.
But you're gonna lose $34 to $40 million.
But see,
which is what he lost.
Yeah.
This is the best part about it, though. Since he didn't go in the first round, he only gonna get a 3-year contract. He's not gonna get the 4th year.
Yeah.
So he can go into his second contract earlier.
Yes.
They can't hit him with the 5th. If they franchise him, it's just gonna balloon.
Yeah.
Right.
So they really didn't do him a disservice, cause it's not like back in the day. That money is slotted now.
Yes.
For the first round.
Right.
He didn't miss out. He'll probably making more on his endorsement deals in college than he would on his rookie deal.
Yeah, they did mention that.
So what did he really miss other than the prestige of being drafted? And me personally, I didn't think he was a first round quarterback.
Right.
His arm strength, he doesn't have the arm strength in my opinion. I thought it was a second round.
I agree, Larry.
Yeah.
I thought that he was a late second round.
Yeah, I thought it was a second or third round pick.
Yeah.
But I still thought the NFL was trying to, I still think he was better than the other quarterbacks that got drafted in front of him.
Yeah.
But they were trying to make a point. But in the end, who did they really hurt? Maybe his pride.
Is your phone, the volume on your phone?
Thank you. But yeah, other than in the big picture, what did they really hurt other than his pride?
Yeah.
Because he's already made the money.
Right.
It's not like he's lacking the money.
Yeah.
So what did they really show him?
I think Cleveland wasted a draft pick.
Yeah, on Gabriel.
And it's not no knock to him.
Yeah.
You know, of course, when they measured the QB measurables, he was way down the list.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out why did they do that? Because eventually they got 5 quarterbacks in the QB room.
Yes.
2-3 of them going to be gone.
But you know why they did that? Because there was no guarantee Shedeur was still going to be there in that round. They didn't know it was a game of chicken.
Yep.
Who was going to blink first and pick him?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't sure if they were going to get the opportunity later on down the road. So they had to cover their bases because, you know, the Deshaun Watson thing has been a complete failure.
I would have covered it with Shedeur with that.
I would have covered it too, but
that was 4th round? Or 5th?
Fifth. It was fifth round. So the league put their mandate out, and they put their mandate out. We'll never see the emails on it, but I can promise you the league put their mandate out when he was going to be available to be chosen.
Right.
And then they were like, well, I got to make sure I got somebody just in case, because they couldn't go in camp with Deshaun Watson,
Flacco
from 1988.
Yeah. But he just signed a nice contract. So.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. None of that money in the NFL is guaranteed.
Well, for QB,
It depends on what you sign.
1 year.
Yeah. He got a 1 year deal, so you gotta have a veteran presence. Because what has Deshaun done since he been in Cleveland? Nothing.
But be hurt.
Yeah. So
and then I think I heard the reports that his comeback is being delayed.
Yeah.
Due to other injuries. So
Well, let me ask you two. How do y'all feel about Dion being their agents at first?
I'm not mad at that, especially if
changed.
Especially if Dion has done what he's supposed to do to know the business of it, because like you say, everything is slotted now.
Right.
So it's a lot easier to know because 9 times out of 10 you know the people that been picked before you, and so it's all a slot thing. So why give up the 10% if you don't have to, especially if you know where your money is slotted to be.
Right.
Anyway,
you don't really need that agent to your second contract.
Do you feel like his personality is bigger than the game?
No.
That's a good question. And the reason why I ask that is because Dion is changing a lot. And what I mean by that, not in the NFL, because coach, of course, he's not a coach there, but I mean even the subtle things like spring practice. You know the quote unquote G game or Colorado game, whatever. They trying to bring teams in.
Yeah.
And blah 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 blah. So he's trying to change the course of the NCAA.
yes.
See, but this is the thing. That's what is. I'm glad you brought that up. What's funny is that was suggested 10 years prior.
Right.
Trying to play another team. It wasn't Dion. Dion ain't the first person to bring it up. Dion gets all the noise for it, and I think he's good for the game.
Oh, yeah.
But I believe we don't give Dion enough credit for being a coach.
Yes.
And we give him too much credit for all the ancillary stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to find that balance, because you know that I got time today.
Yeah.
That ain't nothing that you need to do as a coach.
I agree, but
That's
but if you come in like that, it's hard. It's
to
hard.
a child, because you're not doing that to adults.
Yeah.
He did that to a child. Let's talk about that. He didn't do that to a grown man.
Yeah.
He did that to a child.
I agree with that. You do have personalities when it comes to coaching,
And that's fine.
And I think, like I said, I think Dion is way up even further. And I'm going to mention the name because his personality was detrimental to a lot of kids, but he was a great coach. And I'm gonna bring up Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
Bobby
agree with that.
Knight, his plateau is way above when he was coaching.
Yeah.
His plateau is way beyond everybody else's. Now it's similar, but it's different to Dion.
Yes.
So that's why I asked you guys about that persona and that personality.
Well, see, Dion is like a throwback coach, like the Bobby Bowens, and when the head coach of these schools
ran the campus.
They ran it. They were the big men on campus.
But they weren't the yapping.
But see, that's Dion.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's been Dion since you ever met Dion.
But see, it ain't been Dion, because Dion will tell you that's been Prime.
That's been Prime. Yeah,
That's been Prime.
Dion,
and he has to
time.
separate Coach Prime from Coach Dion.
Yeah.
Which one does he want to be?
Right.
Does he want to be Coach Prime, or does he want to be Coach Dion? Because you can't be both. And the reason I say you can't be both is because Dion has a reputation. He doesn't recruit. Dion doesn't go do in-home visits.
No.
Dion is recruiting based off of his popularity and his fame.
Yes.
Right.
Which is fine. He's using Coach Prime.
Right.
But he's an old school coach, which is really Coach Dion. But you really can't use that persona as Coach Prime, not in 2025.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right now, what's the point of recruiting? Because of NIL. And the transfers.
Everything, as soon as the House bill is passed,
Yeah.
and each school has the rosters are set, that it ain't gonna be the Wild Wild West anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Rick
gonna be interesting.
Pitino said something that was very important.
Yes.
When they asked him, about your recruiting, and he sat up there and he said, "We're not recruiting high school players."
Yeah.
When did college stop recruiting high school players.
When the transfer portal
And
at
guess,
NIL.
and guess who got the best transport portal right now?
Yeah, Dion.
No.
Well,
Pitino.
of course, because they come down there.
But that's basketball. You talk, so let's look at let's look at the rosters. You're talking about a 12 to 15 man roster to an 85 and 105.
Right.
So that money different.
Yes.
I can pencil and depending on what kind of school you go to, Colorado had to come up with the money just to pay Dion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Colorado law states that they can't pay the coach more than 2 years, and they can only pay the coach X amount. So they had to dig into the pocket just to come up with the money to pay Dion.
Oh.
So this,
But it has all paid off.
it has.
Yeah,
it has paid off, but you still need the base of recruiting.
Oh,
Even if you look at the NFL, whoever wins the free agency game in the offseason don't win the Super Bowl. How often in the college game does the team that goes out and wins the portal actually win?
Ohio State.
This was the first,
State.
but this was the first year.
They had the largest NIL.
They had the
ever.
but all of it wasn't spent on people coming in. A lot of those were their own players.
Yeah.
Now they did pick up old boy from Alabama. They picked up the running back
And a corner.
and a corner. But they still had their base.
Yes.
They still had their base players.
Well, see, Colorado, they started off as
They have a choice.
Yeah, so he had to.
You had
He had to get his
and then,
first
I'm not saying
two
anything.
teams through the portal.
I'm not
because
saying
it wasn't-
anything
it
wrong
wasn't
with
top.
that.
yeah.
But if you have
Eventually
constant
you're gonna have to-
turnover
yes,
every year, you
absolutely,
don't have
yeah.
any cohesiveness.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think that's
never put a
I think
team
that's going to
together.
happen to every
Yeah.
college
Yeah.
football
Look at
team.
Florida State.
Absolutely.
Florida State went 10-0
And the next year,
every year portal, 2-9, or
Yeah.
what was it, 3-9?
3-9.
Yeah. So it's some years you gonna catch lightning in a bottle.
Times are changing, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
times
sir.
are changing. And you can't. It has to be a blending of both.
I don't understand. Well, I don't know how these teams going to have, like, per se, Georgia 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
When you 3 deep at every
Oh, you're not.
position.
That's dead.
That's not going to happen. No
That's
more.
dead.
Nah.
Cause I can be third string, and school A over here gonna offer me money.
Yes.
So I gotta make a decision.
Right.
I may go over here and get paid now, or do I want to learn and grow and get paid later?
Well, that's just like the receiver we had here in Georgia. He won the national championship with us. Then the next year he was in
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Burton.
Burton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Burton.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's right now is going to the highest bidder.
Yep.
And it's a lot of kids. Are you willing? Ain't too many kids now. They willing to learn.
Wait. Yeah, they're willing to wait.
Wait they chance.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, because that was Alabama's thing.
Yeah.
Just wait your time. All you need is one good year,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm gonna get you
I'm
drafted.
going to get you drafted. That's
Yeah.
it.
You
Oh,
just
yeah.
wait your turn, and they build it up. And Georgia was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But now
It's different.
it's different with
It's
that portal.
transfer for the NIL they changed the game.
But what I'm telling you what's coming down the line is they gonna get those contracts, because that's all you signed is a contract.
Yeah.
So now it's gonna be just like this, and they did it with what's your boy who just left Tennessee?
The quarterback.
They did it with his brother in Arkansas. His NIL deal was for $200,000. He signed it, and they told him if you break the deal, you owe us half that money back.
Yeah.
But you got to think he don't get the whole $200,000. That was over the lifetime of the deal.
Yes.
They want their whole half. They want their whole half of $100,000 now because he transferred to UCLA.
He out there.
So that's what is about to start. You about to?
contract?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he left. He transferred out.
Because
So he transferred from Arkansas to UCLA. So that's that's the next level.
Yeah.
So okay, that's fine. You can do. I'm gonna pay you $4 million over the next 3 years. But that's the clause. When you leave, if you leave next year, I want $3 million of that back.
Right.
Oh yeah. But the schools had to do something.
No, and I'm not upset about it.
So it's been that's what, and that to me is why they got GMs in college sports now.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
Man, it was wild when I first heard it, but then I started to understand these coaches is not in the business of negotiating contracts.
No.
So somebody got to come in here and negotiate this stuff.
But not even that, Rick. When the coach got time to watch all these other players in the transfer portal?
Absolutely,
Exactly.
That's what
Absolutely.
your GM do.
Absolutely.
That's your free agency.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
your free
sir.
agency.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, fellas. We in here tonight, man. I think we finna have a good conversation. It's part of a conversation that I have been trying to put together, and I want to thank Dr. Marcy Thurman for co-producing this particular conversation, bringing this one part together. We have a beautiful young lady that's ready to talk about some things. And Miss Ma'am, who are you and why are you in my barbershop?
My name is Mary P. Bagby. A concerned citizen, an advocate for the children. I support education. I have a ministry, Sound Doctrine Ministry. It's a food, clothes, and book ministry here in Athens, Clark County, for my community.
Okay.
And I have a Bible study class, Sound Doctrine Ministry, on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. I am a Board of Education member, District 2. And I love my community.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for the work that you do, especially the clothing and the food and the Bible study, because our community is in need of all of that, in the worst way. I got the feeling you got something to say.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you're here. So, how can we get this started?
Well, I'll start where you ended.
Okay.
Football.
Yes, ma'am.
When I was young, I didn't like football, but I liked to go to the games. And the best part of it for me was the hot chocolate.
That's all right.
I didn't know what they was doing, and I thought it was stupid for everybody to fall on one person. I didn't enjoy it at all, but I enjoyed being with other people. I enjoyed the bands on the field. I love that type of thing. So that's all I really enjoyed about football. But since you brought it up tonight and talked about it so long, I'm saying, do I need to just leave and come back another day?
No.
However, it ties into education. And I feel like the schools, the colleges, the universities see dollar signs on our children.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And one in particular that went to school here in Georgia, Malcolm Mitchell, I believe that's his name.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
If someone would like to tell me how he made it all the way to the University of Georgia and couldn't read on the 4th or 5th grade level, I'd love to hear that from y'all in here.
I did not know. I know he's a former wide receiver at Georgia.
He did not have education. He made it to the University of Georgia. So what happened in the 7th grade? What happened in the 6th grade when you go to when you go from 5th grade to middle school? What happened when you go from middle school to high school, the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th? What happens in that? What happens? How do you get into college? Because don't you have to take something called SAT and PSAT and all those different things? So how did he make it all the way to the football field and could not read?
Where is he from? Where is he from, ma'am? Do you remember?
Well, I think he's from Georgia, but I know he went to the University of Georgia.
Okay.
I know he went all the way through. I know he wrote a book because he could not read. And so that's what I'm saying. Why? We need to stop allowing people to see dollar signs on our children. We need to make sure that they are educated, because so many of those football players, so many of the basketball players, so many of the movie stars, so many of the singers, the dancers, so many of them end up getting more food stamps than Mother Mary, which Mother Mary doesn't get in the food stamps, because they could not read the contracts.
Yep.
Right.
And they signed their lives away. And they have these agents. And they have these recruiters that make sure they're not with any other nappy-headed girl.
Well, one
The
thing,
recruiters, it's so much. So I'll get back to the education part.
Okay.
So now we still continue to have children who are going to the 6th and 7th and 8th grade, and they're reading on 3rd grade level. And I would like for us to get parents more involved, and we get involved. We need to become the extended family that we once were, when the neighbor was watching, and when your child needed to be at home, and when they could see them doing something wrong, and they could let you know, and they could go to the PTA meeting for you, and they could go pick up your child when the child was sick, and all these. We need to go back to being the extended family, and that's some of the concerns.
but how do we go back there? Because we are so far removed from that world. And back to how he got there. I coach Little League football, and I know that once they have identified a kid as being special on the field, there become special allowances that if they deem this kid to be the next one or one of the ones, certain things happen for him.
He from Valdosta too.
He's from Valdosta.
And we know there's Valdosta has had a very historical history in football, athletics, and people coming through their program. In fact, I think the coach not too long ago was found giving the kids steroids and other things. So, and they have people to take these tests for these kids. We know this. It's been proven. I remember a few years ago when the whistle was blown at UGA, the basketball team, when they had the basketball team. And when it came out that guys was taking basket weaving and and just so they can get them through. So we know that this is a problem, but how do we get back to community service in the fact of making sure these kids are getting the things that these kids need?
We get out of our comfort zone. We have to feel that if this child next door, or this child across the street, or this child across town, if this child doesn't make it, it could have an impact. It could be negative on my child. I need to be making sure that I can reach out and help some other child. I need to be making sure that if everything's all right at my house, I need to be making sure if something's all right in the community. So it ties into religion. See, a lot of people, they sing this song called, I Know I Got Religion. But what is it? Is religion going and looking good every Sunday and shouting and letting everybody know that you gave the pastor $1,000 and for pastor appreciation? Or is religion what the scriptures say? Because the scriptures say pure religion is to visit the widows and the fatherless in their affliction. So are we doing that? Are we visiting? Do we know who the widows are in our neighborhood? Do we know who the widows are? Do we know who the children are that doesn't have a father in home? There are some fathers that are raising their children and the mother's not there. And so we stereotype so many things. Do we care? We have to care. We have to reach out. We have to share what we have with our own. We have to bring up our own. And it may mean you have to be uncomfortable sometimes. That's what it may mean. My daughter was telling me about one time she was driving and she saw this lady with a suitcase. She was on her way to work. She worked in Brazelton, because you know a lot of our people here in Athens can't get jobs in Athens. You know, they have to drive to Pendergrass and Jefferson, Brazelton, to all these different shops up there, Bed, Bath and Beyond, the poetry. So we can't get jobs in Athens. And so that ties back into stop saying the mamas don't show up, because the mamas have to be up in Brazelton at 6 o'clock in the morning. So somebody got to be there sending her children to school. But then she don't get back to Athens till 6 o'clock in the evening. But you complaining because she's not at the meetings, but she's at work. So I want us to have some mercy on our people.
Yeah.
I want us to be involved. I want us to know that there are board meetings that happen the second Thursday in every month at the Board of Education on Prince Avenue. And I want the parents to know, you to know, that you can come and spend 3 minutes and tell what you think is wrong in the schools. But do you know what's wrong in the schools? Do you know what's right in the school? Have you heard from parents? Do you know about different fights that's going on in the school? Do you know about students that's getting suspended in school? Do you know whether or not children are having due process in the schools? Are we having due process at the courthouse? Are we having due process as adults? Are we on the battlefield? Are we actively seeking justice and just moral decency for the people, for all the people? Do we do that? We need to be doing that. Do we go to the website for the Athens Clarke County Board of Education? Do you know that they post policies that they're changing concerning the children? They post things that they're getting ready to do on their website, and it's up for 30 days. If no one from the community read it, object, make comments, it basically passes. Do you know what policies are being implemented? What changes are being made? Student code of conduct. And I sit on the Board of Education, but I'm still a parent. I'm still a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. And some things cannot be separated. Some things I will not separate. And I'm asking everybody that listen to this to go to the website for the Athens Clarke County government, the Board of Education, read the different policies that they put up, the changes that they're planning to make, and make comments. You can come and make a comment the second Thursday in every month at 7 o'clock. You need to call the Board of Education, 706-546-7721. The meeting is on those Thursdays. You can call in any day of the week before the second Thursday at 4 p.m. If you call after 4 p.m. on that second Thursday, you might not be able to say something. But they're going through some procedures about that as well, where maybe somebody can come in and sign in. But right now you need to call if you have concerns. Know what's going on in your community. Know what's going on in the school system. Know what's going on with your children, your neighbors' children. Know what's going on so you can help, so we can become that extended family and help and share information with each other. And with the churches, I'm out there. We call it on the block. So y'all know where the block is.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So don't be afraid to come over on the block and give words of encouragement and talk to the young men and the women and embrace them and ask them, how can you help them? How can you help them get out of this situation they're in? There's so much that's on my heart that needs to be done right here in Athens. And so I'm taking this opportunity to share some of the things that's on my mind and some of the things that's on my heart. And education is one of them. and just loving on our people is another. And another area that I'd like to talk about, because people feel like there is no really activists for civil rights here in Athens, Clarke County. I talked to someone yesterday, and he said, is anything going on in Athens? So we have in Athens, we have a branch of the NAACP here in Athens, Clarke County, where we meet the third Thursday in every month at 6:30 p.m. at East Friendship Baptist Church on Arch Street. Someone said, well, the NAACP doesn't do anything. The NAACP, I didn't know there was an NAACP. It is an NAACP here in Athens, but it's been dormant for several years. But if you want a voice, and you want acknowledgement, and you want changes, you have to be a part of something that's supposed to be alive and vibrant, and be a part of it and have a voice. I remember going to an NAACP meeting about 9 years ago. And it was the first quarterly that they had in Georgia. The first quarterly that they had in Athens. I attended that quarterly. And I was in one of the meetings. The president of the state of Georgia, which was Dr. Francis Johnson, I don't know if y'all ever heard of him, Dr. Francis Johnson. He's an attorney, and he has two different congregations. And he was saying things like, why are you holding these positions, but you're not doing the work? And it was my first time meeting him. It was my first quarterly. So I answered a question for him. And someone said to me, well, if you want to, before you start talking, maybe you ought to pay $30 and join. So I paid $30 because I had been going to meetings, but I was not informed that I had to pay. So dormant, not moving. Mm-hmm. And so I want to take this opportunity tonight to ask everyone that wants to have a voice, that wants to see action in Athens, that wants to see communication, that wants to see due process, that wants to see some type of justice, to come to the NAACP meetings. And I don't say bring your money here in Athens, but I do say you can call the NAACP. They're located in Baltimore, Maryland. So you can call. Y'all younger than I am. I'm sure y'all know how to Google and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can find out for the NAACP and call the number and tell them you want to join and you want your card to come from Baltimore, so you'll know that you are a bona fide member. Come, you call them, you got credit cards and all that stuff. Pay $30 to join the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, and that you want to join branch 5180B, 5180B, Athens, Clarke County. But you want your card to come. You don't want it to get lost somewhere. So you pay your $30 to National so you can get your card, and then you can talk for a whole year. You can come and voice your opinion because we need to be alive. I, as the political action chairperson, is supposed to be able to challenge discrimination and these types of things in Athens. But we have a protocol. We have a president that's supposed to allow that, but it has not been allowed. So I'm taking this opportunity to campaign because people think that the NAACP is dormant. It's not. It's dormant. But I have been the political action chair for 6 years. I have gone to nationals where the whole country meets once a year, usually in July. I've gone to 3 nationals. I've gone to almost every quarterly. In Georgia, we have a quarterly 4 times a year. I've gone to the quarterlies. I've gone to the regional where 7 states go, different places. We went, before COVID, we went to, in Alabama, where the 7 states, the regionals, meet. So I'm asking us, if you want something to be done, you need to come where you can have a vote, where you can say, why is this not done? What is happening? We need to come together and be a force. But we can't just say, well, y'all not doing nothing. Well, come do something.
Right.
So that's what I would like. That's what I would like. I would like for y'all to come to the meeting and let other people know. Come the 3rd Thursday in every month at East Friendship Baptist Church at 6:30. If you want to join, you can call the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People and tell them you want to join 5180B in Athens, Clark County, and they'll tell you, you can send your $30, they'll send you a card, and you can come and have a voice, because we need people that want to get on the front line, that want to get on the battlefield, that wants to see changes, that want to challenge. We have a young man, we have 2 young men that I know for sure in prison. One of them has been in for 30 years. His mom died a year and a half ago. I found out about her. She died without being able to see her son. He was not guilty. He was accused of some drug deals that somebody else did. And another young man, just recently, about 2 years ago, his best friend died in his arms. He did not pull the trigger. He did not have gunpowder on him, but he was railroaded into jail. It was not, the case was not taken over by the NAACP in Athens. So I'm running for president of the NAACP Athens Clark County 5180B because I want our people to have due process. And what else y'all want? So many things I need to talk about, I would like to talk about. But I'm saying it's time to be vibrant. It's time to know that we are alive.
Let's take a break. Can we take a break right quick, ma'am? Get some water and come right back. And Sam, I know you got a question. Larry, I know you got a question. And we ask you some questions, then we can go back, get back started. Can we do that right quick?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we go on take a quick break, and we will be right back.